Hello, everyone. It's Charlene Lee, and I'm excited today to be talking about training, and in particular, how to train your organization on how to use artificial intelligence, especially generative AI. So, last week I talked about the top 3 ways to get your organization started. I talked about how to set up an AI playground, how to do training, especially for your top 2 levels of executives, and then also how to use prompts as IP. So today I'm going to take the middle one because there's some additional resources I want to make sure you understand are available that are going to be out there for another 2 weeks or so. So I kind of move things around a little bit in that order. And next week I'll talk about how to set up a generative AI background, and then the week after that we're going to be talking about prompts. So let me just add in here again. Please let me know who you're coming from today, and also what are you doing to prepare your organization for generative AI. I'll share with you some stats, but I would love to hear what you all are doing to ensure that your organization is ready and prepared. And I'll give an example too as well. I'll be using some slides today. So here are my slides. I will make it a banner too as well so you can see it. Let me start sharing. And again, if somebody could post it onto LinkedIn, I would appreciate it. Jay, if you're listening out there, sorry, I'm running late today, so I didn't get a chance to send you the link, so I appreciate it. So a couple of things. First of all, I've seen this need to have generative AI training. These are just a bunch of stats. There's been a 2,000% growth in job postings requiring AI skills over the past year. No surprise. 4 in 5 employees want to learn more about how to use AI in their profession. 84% believe AI will help them get ahead in their careers. 58% believe that AI will significantly change their jobs and the way they work over the next year. 86% of workers believe that they need training in AI, and 3/4 of executives call generative AI a top investment priority for their organizations and are spending a lot to increase the use of AI to increase profitability. Now, that's what the stats say about this general need to have generative AI training. And yet, I've been on the road for the past couple of weeks. I'm doing 2 more speeches this week about generative AI, and I ask people in the organization, I do polling, doing continued research on this for our book. And the vast majority of companies, first of all, do not have a generative AI use policy, and that keeps them from giving people access and to train them on how to use AI. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday where they're like, we just banned everything. We're not allowing anyone to use it. And the salespeople were on a call with me and this person saying, this could really help us. It could be a huge factor in us achieving our goals for the next year. So let me talk about the reality. If there's a tremendous desire to have AI in training, then the reality is there's this huge AI training gap. First of all, 38% of executives say that they're currently helping workers become AI literate, but in reality, only 14% of frontline employees are receiving any, and in another survey, only 1 in 10 were even offered any AI specific training. And what I have found is that executive education around how to use AI is basically non existent. So we have this huge gap between what we desire and know is a reality. We need AI. And the reality is, it's just not out there. So a couple of things that I think is really important. And again, I encourage you to have, if you have any questions about how to get training in place, how to get executives interested and excited about how to do training, then please post your questions in the comments. It's really helpful for the other people on this live stream who are watching it live or later to hear the questions. I'll try to anticipate some of them in my comments here today. But again, your comments and questions are extremely helpful. And again, if you are doing training, would love to hear how you are doing it, how you got started, any details you can provide. All right, so let's go on and talk about some of the things. Again, I talked about the ways to get started. Today, I'm just going to talk about how to, in particular, get your top 2 levels of executives engaged in using generative AI. And the reason I think that's so important is that if the top two tiers of executives understand the power of generative AI, understand the strategic use of it, then that will trickle down into the organization and accelerate your learning very much faster. So one thing that I do want to emphasize is that I'll give an example of how this can make a big difference. At one organization I talked to, the CEO basically just understood how important this was going to be. And so put in place an AI training program, gave people with significant budgets to go and use these tools from a pre-approved list, but they could use any of those AIs. And they were given $100, $200 a month to try these things. And they had a dashboard for every employee that said, if you're using it constantly, then you're a green light. It's great. You're learning how to use AI to transform your job. If you're still playing with it, trying to figure it out, but you're actively making an effort, then you get a yellow light. And if you're not doing anything, if you're not even trying, not even going on any of these sites, then you get a red light. And then he said something very important as he was rolling this out. He goes, in 6 months, there will be no more red lights employed at this company. And his logic here was that AI is going to be the future. We want to become an AI first organization. And so everybody needs to understand what this does, how to use it in a safe and secure way, and figure out how it is going to transform the tasks that we do, the work that we do, transform everything that we do. And we can't do that unless everyone is using it, because those ideas could come from anywhere. So I thought this was a really interesting way to position and use AI. Instead of holding back, they made sure they had a safe and secure space to be able to do this. They had training, and they said, in 6 months, we want you to be using this, not just because it's good for the company, but it's good for you. You will be much more employable. You will have skills that will last you and make you just such a better employee at our company. But also, if you want to go out and you will have these skills, you will have a significant advantage in the marketplace. And he also rightly believed that if he provided this training to the organization, it would be a great retention tool for their employees, because they would be less likely to go to a company that was not as advanced and forward thinking and empowering their employees to use these powerful tools. So that's a quick example of what could happen if you take AI training and use it as a huge competitive advantage throughout your entire organization. So I want to go in and talk about, oh, here we go. We have a quick comment from Martin. So Martin, thanks for the stats. You're very welcome for that. My company allows Copilot for use and requires an AI e-learning before first use, and now offers an AI learning path on LinkedIn for any employee. Wikis and forums emerge full speed. That's just a great example. Thank you so much for sharing that, Martin. I think your experience is very much what some organizations are doing. They're taking something like Microsoft Copilot, a very good, solid tool built into the tools we use every single day. And then before you can get access to it, you have to do training. And then on top of it, you have these forums and wikis that you can share best practices with. So a fantastic example, Martin. Thank you so much. I might call you afterwards and see and hear a little bit more from my research. So let me go back to the presentation and talk about just a couple of things. I think the first thing to do in lieu of a formal AI guidelines is to make sure you are emphasizing critical thinking. Now, I'll be giving some examples of how you can start playing with generative AI without using any company specific information. So you can stay safe and not input anything confidential into the training tools, into the AI, so you're not necessarily training them with confidential information. And so we'll do some exercises with that, but it's also very important as you're using these tools to practice critical thinking. And the temptation is to take whatever is generated by the AI and to treat it like it is right. And we know that's not the case. So pausing, reflecting, does it match what your gut is saying? Fact check like crazy. And then very importantly, really pick and choose and explore and dig deeper into the AI. There are times when I'm like, well, how do you justify saying that? And it comes back with a different answer. So you can ask it to check its work. And again, it requires that you have critical thinking. And in fact, the more critical thinking and the more creative you can be and curious you can be about the answers it's giving you, then the more successful you're going to be with it. So in the end, it's up to you as a human using these tools to use it in a safe and responsible way. So that's my little thing about staying safe. Again, we'll talk more about that next week about how to use these tools and set them up in a way that you can absolutely stay safe on a platform level. All right, I'm going to go in and talk about how to train executives in particular on how to use AI. And it's difficult because anytime they see a new tool, they're like, "Whoa, I don't have time. I don't want to use this." And yet at the same time, they know it's something that's really important and it's transformational. And they know in the heart of hearts, they're going to have to get their hands dirty with it. And so the key I have found is always to tie these new technologies, these new ideas to something that is very, very important to them, and in particular, their top three strategic objectives. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to achieve? So, this executive I was speaking with yesterday, they said, one of our key goals is to move into new markets, to develop new ways of finding our taking our offerings and putting in front of new people. And so we talked about ways that AI can help you do that. And throughout the conversation, you could just see their mind turning like, "Oh, we could do this, could do that. How do we actually execute on that? How do we get around some of our restrictions with customers that actually say you cannot use AI in any of the work that you do with us?" So there were things already they were thinking about and seeing the possibility. And I think that again, if they care about a particular topic, they will be curious. So the key is to make them care that AI can help them address some of these big top objectives that they have, and then they will be curious. So the other step is to show them how they can do things they already know how to do, but do it with AI better, faster, with less effort, because that's what AI is really good at. It is really good at replacing the tedious, monotonous, time consuming things, the speed at which it can do things like research or writing, but also thinking. And that is the most incredible aha moment when people see that happening. And we'll give you some examples. And to get started, again, as I mentioned, don't use anything that requires sharing of company specific information. Again, if you don't have a secure environment, but you want to get your executives up to speed, then find and identify tasks that do not compromise and use any confidential company information just to get their hands dirty, feet wet into the tools. There are so many things they can do with publicly available information, even about the company, that you can safely use. So that's how you get started with executives. So I'm going to give you three examples, and it's really hard to read on here, which is why I want to make sure you can get to the slides. Let's see. Before we do that, let me just see if there are any questions. I have a couple questions and comments here. So let's see. We have Jay asking a quick question here. I see safety as a euphemism for control. It begs the question, safety for whom? That's a great question, Jay. In many ways, that this is again, safety is has been an excuse for people to say, well, we just don't know how to use it, how it's safe, it's reliable. So we're just going to cut off all use to it. And that's fine for the initial few months, like maybe in the beginning half of 2023 or even through the end of 23. But there is enough evidence now that you can, and enough tools available that you can use AI safely for, again, to meet the needs of the organization. So control is a major issue because AI is historically and notoriously uncontrollable. So from an IT perspective, it is a nightmare because anybody can use it. And even talking to this executive, and I go, you know that people are using it. He goes, yeah, I've seen our logs. bunch of people are using it. Many people are using it, even though we banned it. I'm like, well, maybe you should get a policy in place. So this is again that I keep emphasizing to people that the best way to stay safe, the best way to ensure that things don't go wrong is to have policies, is to have a strategy, is to have a plan. So then people know what they can do and what they can't do. And that is so much better than putting out this false screen of security and safety that no one's using it. Okay, well, we're off the hook. That doesn't get you off the hook. So again, this is a key thing that I really are really keen on. And Jay, you have a make an additional point here to return to your other things. Trust, integrity, and agency are fundamentals. Absolutely. All right, let's get on to go back to the slides here. The first exercise I have here is just to write content. So again, the objective is just to use generative AI to draft content. It seems so simple, no brainer, but people ask like, what could I have a draft content for? So choose anything you have to write. Just think about the next thing you have to write. And for example, an invitation to something, a sympathy note. Again, sympathy notes are so difficult to write because you want it to be heartfelt, but how do you put that and you can craft it and spend a lot of time on it? It could be a presentation, it could be a speech, it could be a thank you note, it could be an email, again, if you have a secure environment, but it could just be a note saying congratulations to a team that is not going to share a lot of confidential information. Identify the audience then. Who is this content for? Talk a little bit about what are their concerns or any questions they may have about the content or the initiative that you're putting out there. And then use the AI tool. Put in some specifics about the content and the audience. Specify the tone that you want, include any key phrases that you want included in that, and then push the button and ask it to generate the content. Then very carefully review the draft, make adjustments. You can add personal greetings. You can even go back and ask the AI to generate another piece of the content, make it longer, shorter, include things. Again, you can ask it to redraft and redraft to the way that you want. And at the end, you may want to go and take it out to other people to say, you know, this is my first time using this. Can you look at this and does it look good? Can you tell that it's AI generated? Does it sound like me? So the idea here is to just get familiar and comfortable with AI capturing not only your ideas, but also how you want to say something. And this is, again, a really interesting way to see how AI can create content that is structured, that is coherent, and also has that voice. And it gives you that confidence that it can do this in a fairly reliable way. Again, it takes some fine tuning. Again, what you're learning is how to use that big empty box. What do you put into it to get what you want out of it? All right. Another quick example here is how to prepare for a prospective customer meeting. Now, most companies and organizations are in the business of selling a product or a service to a customer. So finding new customers is really important. And this is a great way to, again, demonstrate how we can do it. I'm going to take away my banner here so you can see all of it. The first of all thing to do is identify the customer, or you can do an industry. Ask for a summary. So put in that information, ask it to do the AI to do research on anything you want to know about that company. Who are their, what's their revenue, their financials, look at their last quarterly reports, what are their top strategic objectives, any major news, who are their typical competitors, all the things that you would ask a sales development person to go and to do background research, you can ask the AI to do that. Then refine that information. Once it gives you that summary, what else do you want to know? What's fun? What do you find interesting? Again, this is a conversation. It's a chat that goes back and forth. And then you may want to input your own offerings. So you can upload a sales or marketing sheet or copy and paste information from your website. Again, publicly available information, not confidential, about what your offerings are. Ask the AI to understand it, summarize it even, and make sure that it completely understands what you do. You might want to refine it, give it more information about that. Again, publicly available information. And then ask it, take your customer summary that you had, take our offerings and generate 3 to 5 talking points. What are the most interesting things that I can bring up that will resonate with this customer? And generate those things, and then you can ask it to refine it. To if you can even ask AI, do you need more information before you can make some recommendations? Or you can say, this doesn't quite match. Let me tell you more information about how this offering works, or give me more information about that customer. So you can begin to see the power of not only it doing research, but also being able to merge all of that research and then and again, add all the information it knows about what you are offering in your products and services to make it really relevant to the organization. So I think these two activities are really interesting ways to think about this. And Jay just told me that the AI, the link isn't working, so hopefully it works now. Let me just take a moment and check. And if it's not working, then I will make sure it's working afterwards. Yeah, I hadn't pushed the publish button. So sorry about that. All right, it is working now. Thank you, Jay, for letting me know. All right, let me go back to the presentation and just give you the third example and my favorite example, which is using AI as a thought partner. Now, the objective here is to use AI as a thought partner to refine and expand on ideas that you may have. As you can imagine, as a researcher and writer, I use AI all the time for this. I will upload a chapter. I will also share, again, I have a secure AI. I will upload my past writings, the book outline, book chapters that I've written already, and give it the new chapter and say, look at this chapter. Tell me the things that are pros and cons around it. What are places where it could be improved? What isn't clear? Ask me questions so I know what it could do. I have this all customized into something called the Bookwise Editor. And it is actually acting as my advisor, as my development editor, as I write. I'm not asking it to write. I'm asking it to critically look at the things I'm writing and make suggestions on how it can be improved. So the idea here is to take an idea, an outline of what you are writing about, or even an existing article or report that you find very interesting and you would like to have a conversation with somebody about it. So you can upload that and engage in the AI, ask it to have insights, expansions, or challenge the idea. Like, what are the pros and cons, or suggest ways to improve this? And you can have a conversation with it around that idea. Now, if it's your idea, you have to have a little bit of a thick skin. You can even say to it, be kind to me with the first rounds, offer me encouragements of how this is really good, and then give constructive feedback in a kind and gentle way. I've literally done that when I'm just really nervous and hesitant about what I've written. I want it to give me feedback, but I kind of need to feel good about it too, as well. So there are different ways you can ask for that feedback. And then look at the suggestions really carefully, because just because it gives you these suggestions, it doesn't mean they're necessarily right. You can take it at face value, or you can again apply that critical thinking and decide, like, oh, these are really good points. But this third one, I don't think you understood what I was trying to say. And I will challenge it, like, this third recommendation you have on how to improve it, I don't agree for these and these reasons. Does this make more sense now? And they'll come back like, no, that still doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. And then figure out which of these things you want to incorporate into your writing, into that idea. And then it may be adjusting that content that you have, maybe adjusting, again, if it's a strategic plan. Again, if you're in a confidential space, you could upload a strategic plan and say, given what you know about the company and the landscape, is this a good plan? How should we be adjusting this? So it can act as these different thought provokers, thought partners for you in looking at these things. And so the outcome here is that you're learning how to use, and more importantly, how to trust the AI to be able to give you feedback on thinking, on ideas, and to help you problem solve. This is, again, not something that is natural for us to do, but it's something, again, that you do all the time with people. So these three things, we are always constantly writing, we are constantly looking for new customers, and we also have new ideas that we have to develop as leaders. So these are things that we already know how to do as executives, but now we're learning how to use AI to shorten the process to get to really good outcomes. And AI is just a tool to help us achieve the things that we want to do as leaders and hopefully do it in a better and faster way. So, a couple last things to share. I do have some additional resources available. The first one, again, something I'm a huge fan of, is Coursera's Navigating Generative AI, the CEO Playbook. It's a course that that the CEO of Coursera, Jeff Maggioncalda, who's been on this live stream, I wrote about a couple of weeks ago. It is a fantastic course. It takes about 3 hours to go through. And they also, what's really cool is provide an in-course playground so you can try lots of things and know that it's going to be confidential and safe. The other key resource, which is again available free through April 5th, is LinkedIn has made 250 of its AI courses free and available. So hurry up and get some of those courses under your belt because it's free. It's available right now. You have people who are itching to get trained on AI. This is a great resource available through April 5th. And again, I have my course in there too as well. There is, again, a link to the course, but I also included a free link. It's just really long and ugly that is available to even when they close the course off, you can use that link to be able to get access to that course. And I have, again, just additional resources. Again, I do have some exercises. I will need to update them with the ones I put in today. And then some generative AI use policies. We'll go through that next week. And then lots of other resources available too as well. So that's what I have for today. Let me just go through and make sure we have a couple comments. Oh, there's a really interesting conversation here about Copilot. What are they doing with all the data you're putting into it? And the thing here is that again, if you have policies already, you're already using an enterprise grade version of Microsoft. Copilot is inclusive of all of those data use policies. So you can be assured that the information you're putting into that are going to stay secure inside of your organization. So it is a really good solution to get started. I do feel like it is not a general use generative AI tool, not at this point. It's fine. It's good for what it's designed to do, to be a companion to your existing Office tools and Office 365 tools. That said, it is not quite the same as other tools that are available, like using, again, like a general LLM like ChatGPT. Here we go. Jay is just saying this is how far he's gone down the path of using AI. I've started down the road of using Python to help pull info out of the data I am using. Good for you, Jay. I discovered earlier last year, about a year ago, when I was playing with these tools, that I had Python on my Mac and that you can actually put in program and make apps. So it's been a fun journey. So glad to hear that you're really experimenting with Python there. I hope to get to that point. So that's what I have for today. Again, I'll put up the URL for the training slides. And next week, join me again on Tuesday at at 9 a.m. the usual time. And I'll be talking about how to set up an AI playground. And I'll be going through in exquisite detail how to do it on the free versions, on the paid versions, and how to use even custom GPTs to create a more interesting and useful playground for your organization to not only stay safe and secure in using AI, but also how to turbocharge it when you have this instance of a tool like ChatGPT available to you. All right, so stay safe and secure, experiment with these things, and especially if you have exercises or ways that you have trained your organization, please share them with me. I'm always looking for examples. And if you have a really interesting example, I may call you up and ask for a research interview, and maybe you'll be included in my book. And very importantly, too, as well, if you are interested in learning more about how to train your executives or could use some support, please let me know. I'm running workshops these days on how to just how to explore and use generative AI for your executives, and then also how to tie it deeply into your strategy. So this is the type of work I'm doing with organizations right now. It is incredibly fun because I love seeing how executives go from a place of fear and uncertainty into a place of curiosity and confidence. So that's, again, some exciting work that I am privileged to be able to do. And if you need some support in that, please let me know. Contact me. You know all the different ways you can contact me. All right. Please stay in touch, and I will see you next week. Thanks.